week's time, we're ready to vote for something. People can object saying, I need more time, I need more information. But I do think that having a 1 week deadline to come back with where we stand, and if we as a council feel that we have something that's fully fleshed out and are prepared to vote to move forward, I'd like to really have a set timeline on it. So if we could consider doing that with a stipulation that it will report back within a week's time of what they're proposing for motion.
Well, I think we can, establish the committee and, see what progress is made, and if you're not happy with that, you can bring that up at the next meeting. I mean, thus far, we have attempted to, I think our council, and successfully so, provide all of our members with any information they need or request in order to try to make informed decisions on things that are there. We've taken longer periods of time, and that's fine, to talk to department heads and that sort of thing. Here is an issue that's raised for the first time, a half hour ago in terms of a specific proposal. And I'm saying, asking that you afford the same courtesy to all of council that has been afforded to the new members when making decisions about contracts and other matters, of government, thus far. So that's all I'm suggesting.
I think we're largely saying the same thing. I'm saying if you come back, or you and Mr. Zidek come back in a week's time, and what you're putting forth for approval, a certain member of council feels if they don't yet have enough information, it can be tabled. But I just think it's important that something come back within a week's time, because this is not your normal issue. This is something that has particular urgency to it, given the timeline.
I guess the only other thing, I'm sorry, the only other thing I would offer here is that last week Ms. Marone was concerned about tabling a maintenance agreement regarding a call monitoring system, and we agreed to table it for just 1 week. I would submit that this has the lives of our residents at stake, and so it deserves at least as much urgency to deal with it in 1 week as we spent on a maintenance contract for a piece of software.
Or to be brought up in the first instance when you were on council, if that's the case. So.
I'd just like to clarify, if I could, it was not my suggestion to table that for 1 week. I voted nay and felt that that should have been voted on last week, that was an important issue to the safety of our residents, vulnerable residents that rely on services from the county. So I just want to clarify, I was against putting that on hold.
I appreciate that, yeah.
All right. Are there any more matters that council wishes to discuss? We've been through public comment, but we're trying to be very flexible. Mr. Coyne, correct?
Thank you, Mr. Blaine. I just wanted to follow on to your comment about Delaware County Emergency Services. And I don't know their work, but I presume and assume that they are professional, very competent people. The reason that I am asking that you strongly consider this risk assessment has to do not with competence, not with dedication to public safety, but with understanding. And to me, as a layperson, it's hard to imagine how someone can responsibly do emergency planning until the risk is thoroughly studied and well understood. So, for example, so what it comes down to as it relates to county emergency services, the question in my mind, or the issue is, do they know what they don't know? And I point to a meeting in Thornbury Township. Deputy Director Larry Bach of Delaware County Emergency Services was part of a panel, and he was asked specifically what his worst case scenario was with Mariner East 2. And he said, and I'll just quote, "History has shown us that those are the events that typically occur, that a contractor will go out and tear up the line. Trust me, when he rips up the line, it will ignite pretty quickly. So the impact radius will probably be 50 feet. I don't think Mr. Bach was intentionally trying to mislead. I think it might have been one of maybe misinformation. because that response would talk about incidents with pipelines overall. According to,
Well, Mr. Quinn, let me just say, I think I understand it. Whatever my comments were about our emergency services department, I realize you're talking about some type of study where you bring in consultants and experts
Right.
in that sort of field. And so I wasn't in any way trying to limit it, that it would just be a couple people in our emergency services department would look at it. I think many times in the past, we have been, I think you said you're new to this format for this meeting.
Right.
We have had our emergency services department coordinate efforts, and I think back just a few years ago to when we had the oil tank trains that were transporting crude through our county and to the Marcus Hook area and to the Eddystone area. And if you look back, our emergency services coordinated a very successful planning operation exercise, that dealt with the safety of our residents as those products were being transported through in terms of train problems or train accidents. Consultants were used, experts, for that type of mode of transportation would be used. So I would imagine this would be along the lines of the same type of thing, where we certainly reach out, identify in the industry, who are experts, in the safety precautions and response to any incidences with pipelines. And we have in past years, I know this has certainly come to the forefront. You're dealing with different liquids and molecules, but Delaware County has had pipelines for many years. There have been emergency response plans dealing with pipelines. So this is not a new phenomenon to the county. It certainly might be different and heightened based on people's concerns, but it is something that we have dealt with in the past.
I appreciate that, Mr. McLean, but this is not the garden variety pipeline that we've had in the past. And it all comes down to, I believe, from an emergency planning perspective, what data are you operating with? And Mr. Bach, in his response, talked about that excavation damage accounts for only 3% of pipeline incidents. And this was the PHMSA, the Pipeline Hazard Safety Administration data. In fact, corrosion, incorrect operation material, faulty welds, equipment failure is responsible for 79%. So my point is, you can't look at highly volatile liquids in the same way as you do with pipelines in general that carry gasoline. That's all I'm saying. Thank you very much for your
Thank you. All right.
I guess the only other comment I would make is that it's my understanding too that currently our emergency services are informed by Sunoco's assessment of the risk. As one of the individuals who spoke earlier today suggested, perhaps that's not the most objective view of things. So it's both in the interest of our citizens of Delaware County and perhaps at least as importantly our first responders that a more objective analysis be done of the risk.
Thank you.
It was-
Nidek
no,
for
it was-
all of us.
That was for you, I think.
All right, if there's nothing further from council, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, can I make a motion to adjourn?
Is there a second? Now, no motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second. You guys are allowed to second things now. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.